welcome back to my channel. So today's video is slightly different. I'm going to be doing a Fenty Beauty versus Huda Beauty foundation review for you. I haven't tried these foundations, so this is the first time I'm going to be trying them. I am so excited to try them on. The launch of Fenty Beauty has been absolutely huge, and I only managed to go down to Harvey Nichols in London to pick the foundation up last week because the queues were sometimes 2 or 3 hours long. So there's been so much hype around the brand. She's brought 40 shades of foundations out and all the products are absolutely beautiful. And then we also have Huda. So Huda obviously has her own makeup brand. She's very well established already. I have quite a few different products of hers, but when she announced, I think it was early this year or late last year, that she'd be bringing a foundation out, I was so excited. So I have both foundations here. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be applying Fenty Beauty to this side of my face, which is the left hand side for me, but if you're watching it could be the right hand side, I don't really know, but anyway it's this side that I'm going to apply Fenty, and then on the right hand side of my face I'm going to be applying the Huda foundation. So this is what the Fenty foundation looks like. It is called the Pro Filter Soft Matte Longwear Foundation and it's £26. So with the Fenty foundation you get 32ml, and like I said before, Rihanna has brought out 40 different shades, which I think is incredible for a brand that has literally just started out. I really love that she's pretty much covered every single skin tone, and I have heard rave reviews about this, so I'm really excited to try it. The foundation claims to be a soft matte buildable foundation with medium to full coverage. It's also oil-free, pore diffusing and climate adaptive technology, so that's really interesting for those of you that live in really hot climates or those of you that live in freezing cold climates. So as I said, I purchased this in Harvey Nichols and the experience that I had in there was absolutely incredible. So the concept really with that is you wait outside and then they call you in, and the guy that served me was lovely. He was really passionate about the brand, and it's really nice to get a service like that, especially when it's so busy. So he matched me to the shade 240, and I did say to him that I didn't want to be too golden / yellow, and having swatched the foundation on my hand when I got home, it does look quite golden, but as you know I like to fake tan a lot, so that's why the shade is possibly slightly deeper than my natural skin tone. And then moving on to the Huda foundation. So this is the Huda Beauty Faux Filter foundation. I purchased this in Harrods and Huda has brought out 30 different shades. It retails for £32 and you get 35ml in the bottle, so it is slightly more expensive than the Fenty Beauty foundation, but you do get a little bit more product within the actual bottle. So in terms of shades, this one is the shade Butter Pecan 33N, which is neutral. So Huda has also covered different skin tones. She has neutral, golden and beige kind of skin tones, and then she has lots and lots of different shades. Not as many as the Fenty range, I would say, but you should be able to find a shade to cover your skin tone. So the Faux Filter foundation claims to be full coverage with a matte finish. It's also water resistant, so I don't know if any of you guys saw it, but she uploaded a picture with it on her hand and she was running it underwater and it just wouldn't come off, so I'm really excited to see how that wears. And it's also got a HD finish as well, which is great if you kind of like go on nights out with your friends and you're taking pictures, or potentially if you're getting married and you want more of a full coverage look, then this definitely could be for you. Having said that, you could also use the Fenty one. Now both foundations do not have an SPF in them, so you need to make sure that you're wearing a really strong SPF underneath your foundation if you're wearing it in the day. So let's try these on. So as you can see, my skin is not looking great. It's very red and blotchy, and as you can see I have a couple of like scars from where I've had spots, and it's just not on the best form at the moment, so I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to try them today. So I'm going to be wearing this all day today, and I'm going to be checking in with you to let you know how I'm getting on. I'm going to zoom in, and I'm basically just going to give you my honest opinion on them and which one I prefer, or if I don't rate them at all. So the time is now 9:37 a.m. and I've got quite a busy day today, so again, another opportunity to kind of really test the wear out of them. I have already primed my skin, and I have on the Glossier Priming Moisturiser. I really like this because it's quite light, it's not too heavy, and it's just a really good base for me to be using with my combination skin. So I've got two beauty blenders here, and I'm going to be using separate ones on either side of my face. So I'm going to start with Fenty first. Let's give it a good shake, and I'm just going to pop it onto the back of my hand. So the foundation itself doesn't really smell of anything. It has a slight scent to it, but it's nothing kind of off-putting or very, very strong. And I'm just going to take my beauty blender into the foundation and start applying this. So first thoughts are, it's got quite good coverage to it. Bearing in mind I use a beauty blender most of the time to apply my makeup, I thought this would be quite a fair test. And instantly it's covered quite a lot of my redness. I'm just going to take a little bit more on my hand, just kind of get it up to the coverage that I want to go for today. As you can see, that's covered really nicely. I'm actually going to put just a tiny bit more on. I used about a pump and a half, but the problem with beauty blenders is they suck up a lot of the foundation. So I'm just going in now with a second layer. I think I probably got too much now. So looking at it, it is very yellow. To me, this feels very, very yellow. I think I can make it work. That is quite yellow to me, but we'll see. Okay, so I've done one side of my face with the Fenty Beauty foundation, and I'm just going to zoom in for you now so you can have a real look at it. So this is what the Fenty Beauty foundation looks like. At the moment, it's not overly matte, but I've heard that it dries down matte, so we'll see how that goes. I don't have any concealer or powder on at this point. I just have the foundation on. So you can see the difference in terms of coverage. So this was 3 pumps, but I think I lost a lot of it in my beauty blender. You can see here there's quite a lot of product there. So I'd probably be fair and say it was like 2.5 pumps, but it's covered really, really well. Okay, so on the other side, I am going to be using my Huda Beauty foundation, and like I said, this is the shade 330N Butter Pecan, and I'm just going to give it a good shake again. I tried to get shades that were as close as possible, so I really hope that there isn't like a massive difference on my skin, otherwise I'm going to look like an idiot all day. So I've got a new beauty blender here. I did clean it. This is my old one, this is my new one. I'm going to start with 1 pump of the Huda foundation, and I've actually put it onto my sponge, but that won't affect the performance of it. So let's give this a go. Wow. Okay, so the first thing I would say is this foundation really smells, in terms of it's got quite a strong fragrance to it. It reminds me of like those really old Clinique perfumes that everyone used to wear in like the 80s and the 90s. I don't particularly mind the smell of it, but I'm a bit confused as to why she would put fragrance in a foundation when in this day and age we're trying to kind of make everything unfragrant so everyone can wear it. And I think that if you have like sensitive skin or allergies, or you're just not a fan of fragrances, then you're not going to like this. Personally, I don't mind it. It is strong. So again, to me, this is very yellow, and this is supposed to be a neutral shade, but I think that in this light it is very kind of golden yellow. So I've just applied the faux filter to the other side of my face, and I'm going to zoom in now so you can have a real look at it. This is the Huda foundation when it's on. I only used 1 pump for this, but I found that the pump disperses more product than the Fenty pump, so you're getting a little bit more when you pump the Huda one than the Fenty one, if that makes any sense. It has covered everything so well. I would say that the Faux Filter Huda foundation has better coverage than the Fenty foundation, but having said that, the Fenty foundation can be built up to a coverage that you really like. But you can see, I think the shades are quite good. I think I could probably get away with it today, so that's a good sign. Okay, so I've got both foundations on, and now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go and put my concealer on and everything else, and I'm gonna come straight back to you to show you how it looks with the rest of my makeup.
One eternity later.
I'm back, I've finished my makeup, so I'm just going to talk you through quickly what I've done. So I've applied some Tarte Shape Tape Concealer under my eyes, and I've set it with the Laura Mercier powder, and then I've just gone on and put some bronzer on, blusher, brows and mascara. I didn't put any powder anywhere on my face other than under my eyes to set my concealer. Obviously a blusher and a bronzer is a type of powder, but to give these foundations a fair test, I didn't want to use a powder. So I'm gonna zoom in for you guys so you can have a real look at it with all my makeup on. I have set my entire face with the Marc Jacobs Coconut Setting Spray, but other than that, like I said, no powder has been used, and I will continue to update you throughout the day on what I think of them. My thoughts right now are so far so good. I really love the coverage. I kind of like that it's a little bit matte. Because I've got combination skin, I tend to get very oily very quickly unless I make sure I powder. So this will be interesting to see how well these hold up. So on this side of my face I have Fenty Beauty on, which like I said feels a little bit too yellow, but I can make it work. You know, the lighting in Harvey Nichols isn't great, so I'm not really that bothered about it too much, but so far I really like it. And then on this side I have the Huda foundation. Now I would say for both of them that I can still see my pores a little bit. I know that the Huda one doesn't claim to be pore diffusing, the Fenty one does. But I would say my pores are still visible, but they're not kind of like in your face visible. But so far, I'm really liking it. So on first inspections, I would say that both foundations go onto the skin really well. I would say that the Huda foundation is a thicker consistency. And like I mentioned, it does have quite a strong smell. So if you're not into fragrance, then I would definitely avoid this. But so far, I love it. So I'll check in with you again in a few hours time so we can see how the foundations are holding up. So the time is now nearly 20 past 4, so it's nearly 7 hours since I last checked in with you. I'm sorry that it's been ages, but I have had quite a busy day. I've been out for lunch with my friends and I've just been like running errands and stuff. So this is the first time I've like properly looked in the mirror since this morning, and can I just say the foundations have lasted so well. I'm gonna zoom in for you guys so you can see how they've worn. Okay, so as I said before, Fenty is on this side of the face. So this is my ideal kind of finish for foundation around this time, when the foundation's kind of a little bit more dewy and the skin just looks really nice and fresh. So as I mentioned before, the Fenty Pro Filter foundation is on this side of my skin and I absolutely love it. I can't really see the foundation breaking up. Just kind of like looking at my nose. It hasn't really broken up. Obviously my skin is looking a little bit more shiny now, but I actually really like this finish. I don't have any powder on and I'm so impressed that it's lasted 7 hours and I don't even look really very oily. I just look like I've got a little bit of a glow, which I love. My pores still look the same. I wouldn't say that they look any different. And I really love the finish, the coverage, everything. I would probably say that this is the kind of time where I would like to put a little bit of powder on, just around my chin area and on my nose, and then a little bit on my forehead. But I have got a bit of highlighter on, which is the highlighter plus kind of my skin kind of getting a little bit more oily as the day's gone on. But 7 hours, I still think I look really fresh, and I hope you guys do as well. So now the other side, again, I would actually say that they're really similar. I'm just gonna zoom in a little bit more for you. Okay, so I've got super zoom on at the moment. So just so you can see the finish, and then my forehead. So I feel like it might be breaking up a tiny bit around my nose, just in the corners and the other side as well. But that, to be honest with you, that normally does happen to me. And I think that if I did have a powder on, that would probably help stop it. But so far, I love them. To be honest with you, they both look very similar on. I would say that this side of my face looks slightly cakey compared to this side. And I really hope that this is kind of showing up on camera for you, but so far so good. I love both of them equally, but I would definitely say that the Huda one on this side is a bit heavier, and I think next time I use this I will definitely use less. I think less is more with the Huda one, but with the Fenty foundation I love it as well. I really love them, and to be honest with you, I'm finding it really difficult to kind of, how would I say it? I'm finding it really difficult to kind of tell the difference between them, because when I look at my skin right now in the mirror, which I'm holding here, my skin looks pretty much the same. So I will give you another update probably before I go to bed, so just so you can see how it looks before I take everything off. Hi guys, welcome back. So the time is now 10:06 p.m, which means that I've had this foundation on, or these foundations on, for nearly 13 hours. So I'm just about to like start getting myself ready for bed. It's quite late, and I don't normally leave my makeup on this long, but I wanted to give it a really fair chance to see how well it wore. I'm just gonna have a look in the mirror and give you guys like a zoom in to see how the foundation's looking up close. So I am definitely oilier than I was earlier. You can see as the evening's gone on that my skin has definitely got more oilier. I have also been in my car and it's absolutely freezing outside, so I've had the heating up full blast, and I think that's probably melted my makeup a little bit because it's very hot in my car. To be honest with you, both sides look the same. I'm so impressed with how well these have worn. I can't honestly say that I could fault them. So I'm just going to zoom in for you guys so you can really see the foundation. This is it after nearly 13 hours of wear. You can see around my nose I'm very oily and it's kind of coming onto my cheeks. My chin is also very oily, as you can see. And again, on the other side, I'm looking quite oily as well. So at this point, I would definitely need some powder. However, bearing in mind, I haven't applied any powder to my skin other than underneath my eyes to set my concealer. I'm so impressed because, I mean, imagine what it would have been like if I had set it with powder. I think it would still be pretty flawless. And I still do think that my skin is looking pretty good. I mean, I won't be able to see until I edit this back, but on my viewfinder and in the mirror, my skin looks pretty good. A little bit oily maybe, but pretty damn good. So, closing thoughts for this. Love them both so much. To be honest with you, I can't really tell a difference between the both of them. I don't know whether you guys can see that. The one thing I would say is Huda can be a little bit cakey. So what I mean by that is it's a very thick foundation in terms of consistency. So you really do not need a lot of it. And I think that you need to really make sure that you've got good base underneath for both of them, even for them to blend out well. If you've got dry skin, you can absolutely still use this foundation. The only thing I would say is just make sure that your skin is really primed and just like very, very moisturized, because these are more matte foundations, and as you can see, as the day's gone on, my skin has started to get a little bit oilier, but I absolutely love them. Are they my new holy grail? Probably. I'm going to continue using them, and I'm going to see how they wear on their own as well, but bearing in mind Fenty this side and Huda this side, I think they look great. And let me know what you guys think as well. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this useful or informative. If you have any questions, please leave a comment down below, or let me know which one you prefer, or if you don't like them at all. Be really interested to hear different opinions on them, but I've had a really good experience with them so far. The only downside that I would say is, obviously I'm a little bit oily now, but this is 13 hours in and I haven't set it with powder, and it's broken down a tiny bit on the corners of my nose, but to be honest with you, not enough for me to warrant to kind of give it a negative review, because I think that they're both equally brilliant foundations. So I hope you have a lovely day, evening, or wherever you're watching, and I will see you next week for another video. Take care, bye!